they basically grew up like where I live in Eastern Queens in Belrose as predominantly one-family neighborhoods. And then all of a sudden, when there was a market, if you will, to do more, and the zoning already permitted it as of right, people were able to buy up houses as people aged out or chose to move elsewhere, and they put a bunch of land together, and they were developing much larger developments as of right, perhaps clusters of homes, perhaps condos, and whether they look nice, whether people needed it, the point was they were able to do this as of right. And that's how this particular, we got into that quagmire, and and the mayor actually had to react to it and appoint a task force to address zoning issues in Staten Island just before his reelection, and he was facing a lot of problems with that. So essentially, I make that analogy to 1961 to show essentially we didn't experience growth, and in 1961 the city was not quite at 8 million, and then it declined as we got into the 70s, into the 80s, and we first are getting back to that level now. And I think the most important thing we have to think about, even though people are living longer, so perhaps some people are choosing to live longer and stay in New York as opposed to retire to Florida or warmer climes as many people do. The reality is in every neighborhood, as it goes through what I call a transition, if you will, sometimes you'll have neighborhoods that are primarily empty nesters, people who already had their kids in school. So that's going to be a time when the population in a given community may not be as big as it is in other communities where everybody's of school age or more. So you're going to have that shifting across the different neighborhoods. We've seen it in different parts of Queens as schools close, schools reopen, you build new schools. And we had that partly because when the city closed schools, not thinking, let's put a temporary use there until a neighborhood recycles in population. But they did that, and that was lousy planning.